Mahesh Yagnaraman, Country Director of Acumen, with us now. How has Acumen India followed your Acumen Fellows in responding to this crisis?
Yeah, hi. Thanks a lot, NDTV, for this opportunity on the support to artisans. That's the first thing I wanted to say. I think there are several Acumen Fellows who are working with the poor and the marginalized through their social enterprises. When the lockdown started, there were certain collectives and certain organizations like Women's We, which is featured in this program, as well as Loom Kata, run by our fellows. And we initially supported them directly because the artisans were at risk of migrating. So there was a direct support. But as the time goes now, the most important thing is to actually generate awareness and create the demand. I think there is nothing like this kind of a program to raise that level of awareness. And in this case, Ram, who is actually a co-founder of Habba and Rangde, is actually an Acumen Fellow. So very glad to be of any support to this.
Mahesh ji, how critical is it to support this cause, in particular, buying handmade to revive the livelihoods of India's artisans and weavers?
Yeah, thanks. I think there are two ways I look at it. There is one is that after the farmers, if you look at the segment, this is the second largest segment in the rural India in terms of real numbers. You talked at the beginning of the program, 160 lakh families. So it's a staggering number of people who are actually employed directly and indirectly in arts and crafts. What does that mean? They're all actually very skilled. So when their incomes are affected and they don't get there, what happens is they leave this and look for jobs elsewhere. That means they actually become de-skilled. This is a real paradox, and we should not let that happen. That's number one. And number two, I also want to think about the aspect of Atmanirbhar, made in India. Any made in India aspect is a little complicated if you look at the supply chain, because there may be products, raw materials coming from somewhere else. There will be some linkage at times which can come from outside the country. But if you think about artisans and craftsmen, everything starts here. The whole value chain from the beginning to the consumer is actually captured here. So if there is one campaign we can get behind for Made in India and Atmanirbhar, it will be about artisans and craftsmen. It cannot be overestimated at all.
बिल्कुल सही मायने में आपने सही कहा कि यही एक आत्मनिर्भर भारत की ओर हमें ले जाएगा। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद महेश जी। थैंक यू सो मच फॉर टेकिंग आउट टाइम एंड जॉइनिंग।
थैंक यू।